What's going on, guys, and welcome to our very first episode of a mini-series here on the channel for the new F1 Manager 22 game. Today we're going to be checking it out, starting our new career, building up a team, and hopefully winning a championship in the first couple seasons. Super excited to be starting this one. I've been a fan of management games for a long time, and with a really new redesigned game here for F1 22, we're going to get a whole new visual aspect to it, so very exciting for that. But basically we're just going to dive in. This is going to be more of a live stream type feel video rather than a super edited one. So we're just going to start. We're going to do the first race out here in Bahrain, get everything set up, and just dive right into it. So first and foremost, let's see what it has in store for us in this new career.
Formula One, a sport that spans hearts, minds and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. And that legacy continues today. The 2021 championship was thrilling from start to finish, and 2022 is set to be even better. New regulations will usher in an age of pioneering changes. New driving talent alongside returning champions will be dueling it out to the bitter end. The pressure will be on the team principals in the upcoming season as they manage their drivers, their cars, and the whole team to push to victory. This is not a challenge for the faint-hearted. This is Formula One.
There you go, the intro video to F1 Manager 22. That got me all excited. We're here ready to pick our first team.
F1 in 2010, and since 2014 they've won the Constructors' Championships back-to-back every year. In 2021 they took home the Constructors' Championship once more, although they narrowly missed out on the Drivers' Championship, coming in second. Heading into 2022, Mercedes will insist on dominating the competition. Nothing less than the fastest car and the most wins will give the Silver Arrows the outcome they want to see at the end of this new season and beyond.
Okay, so that was the first little spiel for a high-end team like Mercedes. Obviously, they're a top 10 or top 3 team in the league. We're not going to be starting with that. I actually have my eyes set on a different team. We're going to be kind of going towards the middle to bottom tier team. I want it to be a little bit more challenging, you know, build a team up from their current position on the grid in real Formula One and hopefully build out a championship team. So the team that we're going to decide to go with is actually one of my favorite teams. I love the team. No diss to my man Gunther, but we are going to select Haas to be the team principal here for Team Haas. Try and do the American dream, get them back to glory, or to glory, not back. They haven't ever really been there, but they're kind of on that mid to low end team. So hopefully we can build them up, get a nice car out there, and really get this team into, you know, a top 5 team within the end of the year. Hopefully that's the idea anyway. Might take a couple seasons. Again, this is a brand new game in the Formula One Manager system, whole new dev team, so it's going to take some learning. But we're going to click on Haas here and see their little intro spiel and then get the career started.
Haas joined F1 back in 2016, and they've had a good start to their team career, peaking at 5th place in 2018. Last season they finished 10th, but they spent a lot of time and focus on designing their car for 2022 and strategizing for the future. Going into the 2022 season, Haas hope to have a strong car design under their belts. Coupled with hungry drivers, an ambitious team, and strong leadership, they'll be pushing their performance and fighting their way back to the midfield.
All right, so there you have it. That's Team Haas. First thing I got to say is obviously with all the videos that they showed off showcasing this game, the visuals that Frontier brought to this game are actually really, really good. Quite beautifully designed. It's going to add a whole new feel to this manager game. So we're starting with Haas. As you can see, their team rating is really low. Season objective is to finish 6th, so that's exactly what the goal I had in mind, somewhere between 6th, 5th, somewhere around there. Long term, hopefully we get them onto a podium. You know, that'd be really cool to see this team get back into a podium position. I don't think Magnussen's going to be our face of the future for long. Obviously, Mick Schumacher being on the team, he's a young, wonderful driver. Don't really know what his future is like in real Formula One, but in our team, he's going to be our #1 driver. We do have a low starting balance, so it's going to be a fine line to try and get the money out there. You'll just see some team performances kind of right, like I said, middle to actually bottom of that totem pole. So pretty cool. Mick Schumacher is our #1. Kevin Magnussen #2. Then we have our reserve driver here as well with our entire team. So these are going to be things to keep an eye on, scout some new people, etc. But we're just going to click continue. We're going to get ready with Team Haas. All right, so team principal name again. Sorry to Gunther, my man, but we are going to put our name in there. If you know, Double O Spider's not my real name. It is Michael Webb. And then we're basically going to keep on the guidance because there's a lot of new things to this game, and we're just going to get started here.
Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Audrey Mensa, one of the team. Here at Haas, we've put a lot of energy into preparing for the up. As our new team principal, you're responsible.
All right, so some housekeeping things here. We're going to go through everything, just kind of. I'm just going to skip through this because we're going to go through it together. So here we go. So this is our team dashboard for the new season for our team Haas. As you can see, we're currently near the bottom, but this is going to change over the season. Board has medium confidence, so hopefully we can gain that even higher, get up to high. Again, we already know what our goals are. We have our car number 1 and car number 2, so obviously Mick is in our car number 1, and then
this is where you'll find relevant
information. There's gonna be a lot of these, so I apologize, but obviously Magnussen in our car number 2. So we're gonna basically just go through all these bottom things really here. First video, it's gonna be a little bit longer, so bear with me. We're just gonna go through all the new features that this game offers. There are a lot of similarities between the old games and this one, but again, it's a new developer, brand new system. We're just going to go through it, take our time. Obviously, all of our upcoming dates. You have all of the home screen dashboard to make it easy convenience, but we're just going to go through it. So obviously, our inbox isn't going to have a lot here, just a welcome screen from Audrey here. So welcome to the team. Happy to be here. We have our calendar. It kind of lays out everything for you. We have obviously month to month, then all the key dates that are part of it. So we have a sponsorship obligation tomorrow. We have some development things, pre-race testing. This will all fill up as we continue, but it's really cool to see the calendar all laid out really clean for you there. Then we have the circuit tabs. This is obviously where you can go in and learn things about the circuit. So obviously, if we're looking at Bahrain, you're gonna want high acceleration. Medium speed is really important here, as you can see with the double green thumb up. Medium speed for dirty air cornering. There's a lot of dirty air at that racetrack, so things to keep in mind when we tune our car, get it ready for qualifiers and going into the race. Obviously, as you progress, Jeddah is a more top speed thing, etc., with all the tracks listed out there. So very exciting, very cool, a lot of details, quite a bit actually, a little bit more than I think I was expecting. But obviously, with an F1 manager game, you're going to need all this information to properly tune your cars and lead a team to victory. Then we have the actual race, so all the specific things about that target, with the weather, with everything that you're going into to prepare. Obviously, these are going to be performance-based things that you'll get going into the race weekends. They have a lot of breakdown in that, as well as we'll see going into the first race weekend. Mentioned this before, but here's car 1, car 2. And what's really cool about this, just like in real Formula 1, is you're able to put different sort of setups on both cars. So again, Mick is going to be our number 1 driver for a while here. Hopefully we can re-sign him and he races for us for a while, because I'm a big fan of Mick Schumacher. But we can try new things. So there's obviously going to be developments that come in. You know, you're only going to get a development for one car at a time. You kind of pick and choose who you want to be the guinea pig for that setup. And then you can have the car analysis, which is actually really cool, because not only can you compare it with your own team, but you can pick a team from anything. So you can compare with, you know, McLaren. This is the car of Daniel Ricciardo, and it kind of shows you everything right here, where they're obviously favorited and where they're not. So we're actually, McLaren, first look of the season, we're actually kind of, you know, for Bahrain, up pretty good. We have that medium speed, pretty similar. We have the low speed quite a bit higher. So Bahrain's going to fit our circuit quite a bit. We're obviously going to pick and choose what kind of circuits we want to focus on for the season, because we're not going to be good at everything. We can try and have that balanced approach. But for this season, for season number 1, where we're really getting our footing, especially when you can see at the bottom there, our budget is not the great. Obviously, this number will go up. But you got to spend money to make money in this sport. So we got to kind of pick and choose where we want our best performances, whether it be at circuits like Bahrain or the faster, much power heavy circuits, just like Jeddah, just like Baku, all those ones there. So that's the car analysis. Really cool. You can keep an eye on your competitors. Obviously, the car parts development, we'll go into this a little bit once we get into the race weekend and kind of pick a development where we want to go. And then you have the warehouse, where you can see all of your cars, your car parts. There's 9 different car parts, 6 for aerodynamics, and then 3 for powertrain. It lays it out beautifully. You can develop new ones. You can design new ones. Get a time frame from everything here.
Have just finished manufacturing a suspension system of a brand new design. Well-designed suspension is...
So there you go. Right off the start, we have a new car part installation. The team in this off-season has worked on a new suspension, so we're going to click that here.
All the available...
And you can see we're going to skip a lot of those just because it's very basic things. I'll kind of go through what we're going to do. So as you can see, our old installation here, currently installed on both cars, is the H22 S1. We just got the S2 in. We only have one of them. So the first thing we're going to do is install it on mixed car. This is a brand new suspension. You can kind of see the perks that it's going to do. Top speed's a little bit higher. Medium speed's a little bit better. You get some dirty air stuff as well. So this is going to be perfect on Bahrain. Obviously, we're going to want to develop another one to put on Magnussen's car. You obviously don't want to spread it out and favor one car entirely. You're going to have that guinea pig moment like I mentioned, but we'll install it on mixed car, and then we're actually going to manufacture another one right away. So we're going to go into manufacturer. We're going to change the approach. This is really cool. You can kind of choose, see rush, normal, rush, or emergency. Obviously, if you have one break, it's going to change the cost. It's going to change the date. Ours is, normal is not bad. It's going to be here. I believe that is still before the first race of the season. 6 days. We have 2 weeks to the season. We can only purchase one. It'll cost us $50,000. So again, we have to be very budget conscious. But for a brand new suspension, that's going to give us that dirty air speed. It's going to give us that top speed and medium speed approach. $50,000, not a lot. Like I said, spend money to make money. So we'll purchase this one.
It takes the team a while to manufacture a new car part.
Like you said, we got to kind of be patient and wait for that. But that's beautiful. We got the suspension on board now. So that's the warehouse. That's the cars. I really like this. There's a lot of in-depth stuff. Same with the drivers. Obviously, you can kind of go in here, kind of see all of their development. They're obviously not going to have anything right now simply because, we haven't even started the season yet. But there's things like this where you're going to be able to put points into these categories to kind of focus on where you want to put them. My focus is going to be Mick Schumacher. No diss to Kevin Magnussen. He's been a wonderful driver, but he's getting a little bit older. Schumacher's still 22 years old. He has great potential. Again, you can kind of just zoom in on all their things that help them. The memorabilia, are people purchasing the merchandise, things like that, how good they are in the race simulator. And then obviously contract negotiation and what they drove in their career. So pretty cool. We're probably going to scout a couple new drivers here because I'm not quite sure if this is the best fit for our reserve. We're going to scout some younger guys, some 19 to 21 year olds, see if we can get them into our reserve seat so eventually they can replace Magnussen when he retires, because he'll probably get it. He's only 29, so he still has some legs left on him, but I'm not entirely sure how this game will handle his progress, whether you'll see him stay at the same, deteriorate. Maybe if we play it right, he'll actually do better. So no set in stone, but there's the driver's seat. We obviously have our entire team, so great head of people. There's obviously more people. There's 10 members in our engineering team. They don't show the faces, but all these people are super important for our team. We're going to scout some new people throughout the year. Something messes up, say aerodynamics just continues to fail, doesn't do well, we don't gain the speed that we're promised or anything like that, we can search for a new head of aerodynamics. But that's our team right now. Nice to meet you. Welcome aboard. We also have our facilities, which are pretty cool. You can build, upgrade, and refurbish. Just like real buildings in real life, you have to keep them up to date. They're going to degrade over time. If you don't, you're going to see a performance hit. You're going to see a manufacturing hit. So we're going to have to do our best to maintain all of this within our budget. And again, our budget is not that great. We have a monthly upkeep of 1.2, nearly $1.3 million. Haas is not the richest team. As we know, if you saw the Drive to Survive series, they struggle to get their funding. They struggle to get their sponsorship. So we're on the very low end of the budget. We're going to have to play this smart. There's obviously the developments of factory design, wind tunnel, CFD, suspension simulator, car part test center. So we have at least level 1 in all of them. We have a level 2 design center, which is wonderful. We're going to focus on one of these two again in the coming weeks. Probably a factory, just so we can get race ready. Like it even says right there, get the parts ready to go for the race. So getting that to level 2 is probably pretty important. It's pretty expensive, but it's going to be good in the long run. Again, we have a facility so we actually have no team hub, no race simulator. So there's a lot of things that you have to improve on as we go to the facilities. We have no hospitality area. We don't have a helipad. That's horrible. We don't have memorabilia or a tour center. So these are all things that as you build your brand, as you try and elevate this team to a championship team, these are all things you have to consider with the budget. They all cost certain things. So very cool. Then we have our board. As you saw, our board actually has an okay trust in us. They're at the medium level. So these are things that are, we'll go through and they're satisfied right now. We're going to try and deliver what we promised them. Our season budget is $57.5 million. That is such at a low end of the spectrum, where you look at teams like Ferrari who are making, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars a season, or budget is a season. So it's going to be really cool. We are the underdog. We are the lower end team, but we're trying to get back to that vision that the Haas team always saw, that they kind of showed some glimmers of earlier in the 2020 season, a little bit here and there last season. But hopefully we can build up a really good one. So we obviously got finances, the big question, the money. Like I said, we do have final budgets, everything like that. There's so much to go over, so I don't want to take up too much time in this first video. Again, this first video is diving into Bahrain, seeing all the new mechanics, trying to get an understanding of all the new mechanics, what we need to do. Be a little bit longer of a video, but once we get the hang of it, the video will condense. So if you're still with me here, I appreciate it. We're getting to the action here shortly. And then obviously the standings, nothing new there. It's pretty much the same as the typical flagship F1 game. We'll update that as we go, but basically that's what we got going into this. So we're not going to do anything because we do have a couple things coming in. We'll scout some people before the first race, and then we'll just basically hop into open practice and the qualifiers for Bahrain. So super excited to kick this off. Again, welcome to this mini series. It's not going to be as frequent as the main F1 playlist, but potentially drop one of these once a week, maybe twice a week for the start. But I appreciate you guys stopping in. Let's get over to kick the career off.
It's no longer your first day. We'll have you on top of things in no time. Let's take a look at what needs doing today. You have an alert in the top corner.
All right, so there you have it. So we simulated to the first week. We've kicked off the new season. Super exciting. We do have some things. We obviously need to go to our email. We have 3 new emails, so we're just going to quickly go through them. This is something we're going to get used to, and we're going to fly through as we get more familiar with it. But obviously we have a team event basically right now, a budget approval that I have to make. So it's a season kickoff party from our personal officer. It basically says, look, they're looking to kick off a party to bring everybody together, get the Haas team approved, and what it's going to cost me is $10,000. What it's going to do is improve the driver morale and the staff morale. So it's a nice way to just have the team meet, kick things off. If we deny that, we don't get anything. It's only 10 grand. We're going to accept that. I think that's definitely worth the morale boost. Again, we're trying to build a team that's going to be strong long term. We need to do this. So then we have, obviously, with our sponsor obligations, it says, you know, obviously we joined a little too late for sponsor obligations. Sponsor is a big part of the income for our team. So she's going to put a link here. We're going to click on it. And this is basically kind of what we agreed to without really agreeing to it. It's kind of that situation where they throw you in right before the first race. You don't have time in the off season to make the initial sponsorship deals. But as you can see, these are all the obligations that we have to do. So for example, you know, we have to sell a certain amount of units. We're going to get a whole bunch of money for that. Number of race weekends. What does this say? Your team must host a sponsor event in your factory on the day of the race session. Your factory will have to pause all car part manufacturing projects while hosting. So in 20 of the race weekends, so we all know how long a race weekend is, for 20 of them, so just under half, we have to host a sponsor event, which is going to pause car part manufacturing the day of that session. So this actually gets really broken down. There's a lot, like this is a little bit more of in-depth than I thought they might go into, but it's pretty cool. Like there's a whole bunch of different ones. Obviously, we have to hold a sponsor event, bringing in people that are really important, you know, sponsor, head of the sponsor team, you know, maybe celebrities. It's going to decrease the performance of the pit crew that day. So there's all things that we have to take in consideration. You know, got to make media performances throughout the season for our drivers. Obviously, Kevin Magnussen needs to make that public appearance in state. So all really cool things that, you know, we have to take into the budget, have to take in for the season. And then obviously we have a car part development that we already knew about. So that's basically it here for the first week. In 1 week, the race weekend starts. So we're actually going to simulate.
We're getting very close to race day now. Just continue to do anything.
Okay, so we have preseason race testing results tomorrow. So as we kick here, we have the suspension came in for our second car. So we're actually going to go to car number 2. We're going to pick suspension. We're going to change and put Magnussen on. Oh, sorry, it's not in yet. I lied. It said that the first one came in and they successfully installed it. So the second one should be coming in soon. As you can see, we are still manufacturing it. So that will be in here shortly. It looks like it comes in 2 days. So we'll get that installed on Kevin Magnussen. What I'm going to do really quickly here is I'm actually going to go into our drivers, and we're going to scout a new driver. So we're going to look for a new F122 that can possibly, again, I'm not saying I'm replacing anybody, but there's a lot of you really good drivers coming up that have some decent ratings. So, you know, Jack right here, Jack Dohan, 72 overall. He's an F2. So we're actually going to scout this guy right here. He's an Australian. Super promising, very high patience for negotiation, is willing to. So we're going to send him on a standard scouting for one of our scouts here. So we have one more scout available. So if we go back, we're going to scout somebody else as well. Looking in that, like I said, kind of the younger range. Who might be good here? Again, these are all people that could potentially take the number 2 position. Oh, let's go for Daravala here. Young guy, 23 from India. We'll send him on a scouting. That's our last scouting spot right there. So we'll get some scouts out early. You can see scouting in progress. We'll get updated in 10 days. Just to get some eyes on some of these young kids. Because, again, the F122 world is harsh. Drivers change all the time. Who knows if our drivers want to stay? Who knows what Kevin Magnussen's plans are? We want to make sure we have the right guy for the right job. So we'll continue over here. All right, so our second S2 part came in. So we're going to install that on Magnussen's car. Get that all nice and ready for the start of the season. Here's our testing results. So if we're looking at our testing results, this is not the most promising start, as you can see. Car 1 performance, top speed 13th, not the greatest. 13th for acceleration. We were okay in cornering, you know, 9th. That's mid, you know, not the worst, mid tier. But yeah, really, obviously, we have a lot of things to improve on if we want to get up to that position 6 by the end of the year. But first order of business, go to car 2. We're going to install that new suspension on it. But again, if you look at the old suspension, there's 4, which means you had 1 installed on each and you had 2 extra. We don't have any extra yet. If one of these blows, that's it. That's lights out. So we're actually going to manufacture 2 more, so we have a backup for each car. Now, if we're looking at the date, we'll have one come in before the start of the season, but the other one's coming in after. But again, having one backup's better than none. If something messes up, then yeah, we can definitely rush it, but it's going to cost more. I think we're fine because that'll still give me 1 before the start of the race. We'll confirm that new suspension. Get that going. So we're going to have some spares. We're going to have 1 spare, get more later. Maybe we'll even start looking at a new project.
There are 3 different types.
Let's just look at...
These are... You can also take a look over.
These are all things. So chassis, obviously, top speed, acceleration. We're not looking to be the fastest car, to be honest with you. We're looking at making, you know, kind of those Bahrain-like circuits. So not top speed, side pods, top speed, acceleration, underfloor. Ooh, underfloor affects a bunch of different things. We already got the new suspension in. Maybe we look for a new underfloor.
Testing is... If you assign...
So if you see here, we have different resources. So we have hours remaining in the season. These are all different things that we can upgrade throughout the season to try and, you know, design a new part that's going to come through. So, you know, if we have the CFD hours here, oh, you can even see just improving this by 1. So just a couple, you can see the effect that it has. So if we put 0.2 hours in, that's going to reduce, or that's going to increase the drag reduction to 54%. That is a massive upgrade. And then you can see on the right here, as we increase the hours for the wind tunnel, you can see the effect it has. But again, we're limited. So these are all management things that we have to make the decision of. So it looks like all 3 will be impacted if we put 3 hours in. So that's probably what we'll do here. What's the timeline for this? Not entirely sure, but we're gonna throw it in.
Engineering team to focus on.
All right, so we have a new underfloor design. This is where you can like set presets. So do we want high speed, low speed, balance? We're gonna set everything to balance in the first season. I'm not gonna go too hard into trying to get my high speed crazy, low speed crazy, anything. Like you can slide all these, and then obviously if I put low speed in, the rest are affected. If I take low speed out, the rest are affected. So we're gonna maintain a nice healthy balance. Again, just learning the mechanics, trying to get this down pat. We're gonna set this underfloor design focus into motion, get it underway, and this is where you put how many engineers you want. So this is a pretty big purchase. It's a 900,000 upgrade. We have 1 engineer working right now. That's 75 days to complete. So we're not getting that till the end of May. That's a big chunk of time. So We're going to throw in a couple more. We put some engineers in. Okay, so if we look at the calendar, let's look at the I don't know if it'll save, so we'll just do it. We're going to put in, yeah, it costs a lot to rush for these bigger parts. We're going to keep it normal and let's put 5 engineers in. That'll be at the beginning of May. We should get in time for, you know, what's that time? Spanish Grand Prix, I think. Something like that. So we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna make mistakes in this. We're gonna find out very quickly that we did something wrong. So we're gonna throw that design in there and just kick it off. So let's jump over to race weekend here.
There's always some final work to do before we can set.
All right, so we're on race weekend here. So race prep.
Okay.
We got a big.
Have all the information.
There you go. Good morning. We're almost here. So obviously Bahrain. It looks like it's gonna be clear weather. We have all the different steps we need to tuning our car, building out a prep. So here we go.
This is one.
I probably should have turned off these tutorials. I apologize. I'm going to be skipping over them. So here's our circuit. Again, we already know that the main focus is acceleration, medium speed, and dirty air cornering speed. So that's basically what we're going to roll with. Here's our tire. We're probably not going to change too many tire strategies till we really understand how the drivers like the car. We're going to focus on that 3 pit stop, soft, medium, soft. We might even do soft, hard, soft. We'll figure out which. Maybe we'll do our drivers both a couple different things. We have no previous race results and nothing. So here's our performance review. So this is where we kind of set our incentives, guarantees, and target types. Now, we picked Haas. You can say they're a mid-tier car. I think they're more focused on the low mid-tier to potentially high bottom-tier cars. So we're not going to over promise and under deliver and make an ass out of ourselves in the first one. So our first qualifying target, we're going to just attempt to reach Q2.
That feels like something we can.
You know,
okay.
We might lose a little bit of money, but we might gain a lot. If we're truly a mid-tier car, if we play our cards right, we should be able to get this reward by at least having one of our car reach Q2. Whether it's Schumacher, whether it's Kevin Magnussen, we're going to do all we can to make sure we try and get that bonus. Race target, I don't think I'm going to set, definitely not going to set the fastest lap. There's no negative impact to saying we're going to finish, you know, in a certain position. Finish position there, it says 12th. We can gain a reward, nothing to lose. So that's good. Hot streak qualifier position, not going to post anything. So again, we're putting in little risk for an okay reward and not over promising and under delivering. This is a brand new game to me, and this is a brand new team to the game where we're focusing on rebuilding them. We know what we can do. So, you know, we'll just go out and we'll see what it is. There you go. Car number 1, Schumacher. Car number 2, Magnussen. We have all of our parts. We have the new suspension, so that should give us at least a little bit of an edge going into this competition, into this circuit, into this Grand Prix. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're just going to, you know what? It's time. We're hopping right into Bahrain.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. So, without further ado, let's get started.
All right, well, you heard the man. That was actually a really cool intro.
See you again. Welcome to.
Very cool intro. Again, the graphics in this game are stunning. Normally, when you see a management game, it's usually either top down or just a map or whatever it might be. All brand new graphics. Looks amazing from that Frontier game developer, and it just, yeah, it's stunning. So we're gonna see it really firsthand when we go into the race. But here we are in the weekend for the Bahrain Grand Prix 2022 with our new Haas team. Here you go. So each weekend contains a 360-minute practice, qualifying, race. We all know this stuff. Not too much there. As you can see, it's basically clear skies for the entire duration. not much we can do here. We obviously have our sponsors that we just picked and our reports. We've looked over everything. We know Bahrain. We're ready to get going.
Over here's our race. Rest assured the team.
So this is basically just getting our practice 1 prep for our 2 drivers. So you obviously, there's no data here. As they drive, this will get better. We'll kind of know what their confidence is, what they know, performance bonuses going in the weekend. We're basically going to keep sauce for this first practice. You know, everything's fitted, everything's untested. But we basically, there's not much more we can do to set up when we don't have the data.
Race weekends, you can decide whether you want to. As it's your first race weekend, you should let the team have
Okay, so in the first one, they're just going to kick us right into qualifying. Not much we can do there. Figured as much. To be honest, there might be some episodes of this mini series where we do handle all the practice ourselves, try and tweak some things, trying to get a little bit of advantage where we can. But right now, we're just going to simulate to qualifying like it suggests. We're going to have a crack at it, see if we can at least meet our Q2 goal. Anything higher than that is just bonus, but here we go, off to qualifying.
We return to our highly anticipated race weekend, just in time for the start of qualifying. For those teams who made the most of free practice, they'll be heading into qualifying full of confidence, knowing that they can carry today's momentum into the upcoming session. Does practice make perfect? Well, for one standout driver, it will make for pole. You're going to want to join us for this, folks, so fasten your seatbelts.
Oh, looks like an absolute beautiful day here for qualifiers, so weather can't be an excuse this time around. As you can see, here's the practice results. So Kevin Magnussen actually having a little bit of a better practice than Mick Schumacher, but exactly where I thought. Kind of lower grid, beat out the Aston Martins, Williams. Again, none of that really matters until you get on the circuit, get the rubber heated up and get into qualifiers.
To help maximize our driver's performance, the team
all right, so these are the 3 goals that they had. Both obviously are good with the track acclimatization. And then you go. They're basically on par. Like not really anything changed. You have car parts knowledge both at 70%. Setup confidence a little bit better. Schumacher feels a little bit more confident than the car. But all in all, pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. I mean, realistically, there's just no difference between the two. So that's nice to see.
Time for qualifying. Qualifying takes place over.
All right, so on to qualifier here. So again, we're on Saturday. We know what we need to do. We're going to continue over. And again, not going to change much. Obviously, the soft compounds here for qualifiers. We have a number of tires we can work with. 3 tires. So, you know, theoretically, if we make it into Q3, we might have to use an old set. But we have some that are blocked off for the race. So we want to make sure that we have those. Yeah, we're not going to really change anything. Again, this is our first one, just getting used to it.
Practice, the team can handle qualifying for you if you like. Let's get you...
So we'll manage Q1. Again, we're going to be managing a lot of this throughout the season, throughout the episodes.
Our drivers need to be setting their fastest possible lap times, so we can keep a careful eye on time remaining. Right then.
All right, so we can send out a car. Obviously, nobody's here. Look at these, like the graphics here are just absolutely phenomenal for a management game. So we're going to send out Schumacher right off early. We're actually, even if we're the first car out there, we're going to send him out and get him going. This is our first time sending out a Haas car in 2022. Just get this is more useful for me than it is for these guys. Just trying to get, you know, accustomed to this game, understand the controls. Look at these graphics though as we go inside. So there's a bunch of wonderful things. You can speed the race up. So we have our normal camera. We have our in the cockpit camera. Our rear visuals for a management game are absolutely stellar. And then we have this cool little side one where you can see his helmet. So Schumacher's out. It looks like one of the yep. So it was actually Ocon that came out for the Alpine team. And this is what's really cool is you can view any of these guys. You literally can stop the time. You can go over any leaders, understand their tires, sectors, fastest lap, things like that. There are so many cool things that, you know, we get to visualize on this. And we're going to actually send out Magnussen as well. So both drivers are going to be out on the circuit for us. There's a bunch of different things. You can see wheels, powertrain, aerodynamics. You call the car back in. have a little overview of the driver. What he's doing is he's warming up the tires there, so you can actually see the AI get the tires all nice and warm. This is really cool, really exciting. So now that both guys are out on the circuit, we're actually going to speed up here. As you speed out, it kind of goes to that top down, so you get an overview of the entire circuit. We'll slow it down here in just a minute so we can have a look at Schumacher as he makes his start on his flying lap here. And this is where all the marbles come out, so you can get it again. We're going to leave this in automatic mode. There's not a lot, you know, I don't think you should really try and micromanage a driver while he's doing his qualifier. There's also nothing that I really need to do. You don't need to worry about setups. You don't need to worry about ERS, overtakes, things like that. So we're just going to let it play out. Oh no, it looks like he's getting stuck behind. He's getting stuck behind Hamilton here. So this is actually a little bit of a oopsie here for Schumacher as he's rounding that second corner into sector 2 here. A little bit unfortunate as he got stuck behind Hamilton, who is coming out for his lap. But right now doing an okay job, you know, just staying with it. So you can see Hamilton on his flying lap had the purple sector. So, oh, that may not have been Hamilton. That may have actually been Russell because he hasn't started yet. As you see Magnussen starting his lap as well. So it's really cool that you have quick access to everything. Again, our goal is Q2, so right now we're just not trying to do too much. I really like all the data that you can see. You can literally see anything. You can pause it at any time. See everybody's intervals, see everybody's sectors, which I think is really cool. It breaks it down beautifully. There's just so many things, so much data to absorb, and you can see the strategy. It's just wonderful. So we're gonna see all the different. Okay, so Schumacher.
That's a decent time for a flying lap. Right then. I know.
Yep, so Schumacher has set. Obviously, he was the first one out. We sent him out earlier. We'll get him to come back in, and then we'll switch over to Magnussen, see how he does. So obviously, we have our tires are overheating just a little bit, but all in all, not the worst as we go back to tires. So yeah, they are getting worn down a little bit. You can see some of the guys, including our teammate, he was at 98 by the end, or sorry, not 90 by the end. So they are heating up a little bit. Not the end of the world. You know, see Kevin Magnussen has a little bit of traffic there again. So both our drivers kind of getting caught up with the car. First of the Mercedes and then of this. So yeah, unfortunately with maybe it was the hang up, but that was obviously better than Mick. I think Mick got really slowed down into that really tight corner behind that Mercedes car. But Magnussen, not a bad start. Minute 32 and 3/10. So you're looking at that. That's quite slow compared to Hamilton. So these guys aren't going to stay near the top. But as we fast forward here, we'll continue into our qualifier. We'll see these guys all come into the pit. So if you slow this down, you're going to see him. The graphics on this game are just wonderful. The management, the data, everything you're seeing is just so wonderful. And again, the fact that you can just hop on board anybody. So you see
our driver is back in the pits.
Danny Rick out on the track.
You need to reconfigure the car before we can send them back out.
So yeah, we're obviously going to have to throw on other tires, things like that. So if we click reconfigure.
The team will make sure the run plan is up to. Here you can see all the.
Yep, so we already know about tires from just knowing Formula One. We're going to select, obviously, a new compound for him there. They're going to refuel it, confirm that. We'll get him back out here shortly. But again, as I was saying, like, you can just kind of see, like, Verstappen's out on the field there. Alonso, Latifi coming in.
The car's ready to head back out.
So we're not going to send... We're not going to send him out just yet. Track is pretty busy here, so we're actually going to speed up a little bit. We're actually not doing bad when we're looking at it. Magnussen is still in third. Obviously, you got some guys. I'm not quite sure why some of these guys haven't posted a time yet, whether they had to come back into the pits. Like, Ricardo was out there for a while now. Here he comes around the final corner, so we'll see what kind of time he posts in the McLaren car. But guys like Lando Norris hasn't even come out yet. Perez is just coming out now. So Daniel Rick, there you go, 8th position. So we're actually, when I'm looking at these numbers, realistically not that bad. These guys should easily, like Magnussen should be a shoe-in for qualifier 2. Obviously, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we're gonna throw those on. We're gonna get Mick Schumacher back out. The track's clearing up quite a bit, so we'll get him out. He'll probably have a little bit of traffic behind. This looks like it could be one of the, yeah. So this is Guan Yu Zhu there. He's coming in, so we'll get Mick back out on the circuit, see if he can post a little bit of better time. He has absolutely no traffic to contend with this time. So as the track warms up, hopefully these guys can get in. Again, I think, I don't want to be overly confident, but I think Magnussen up in 5th, which is the way these guys are doing. Well, we'll get him out for one more lap, but that might be it. We might not have to send him back out. Mick definitely is approaching that cusp. He can do a lot better than I think he did in the first lap. And we'll actually send out Magnussen now here as well, so we'll get him back out for his second lap. Let's see. I really like all the features they've added. This isn't even a flagship Formula 1. This is a management game, and you're getting all aspects of it. You're getting the AI warming up. There's a really good replay system in this game where something happens, it flashes on your screen, so you can instantly go back and have a peek at what just happened. But this is just so cool, so fun to watch. We'll obviously speed it up so we can see him on his actual flying lap as we slow it down here. Burst of speed. Here he comes, starting his second qualifier lap. Obviously, we got Magnussen going out behind him, so he'll be starting his here in about 30 seconds. No traffic to work with, so hopefully Schumacher can get a little bit more accustomed with the vehicle. We'll go to his sectors to see how he's comparing with the last lap. Seems to be doing all right, and what's even more fun is there's all this data, but when you join the actual race, you get to control, you know, how fast or how much they're pushing the pace, whether they ease off, if they're saving the battery, or are they using it to deploy, defend. There's so many things. So a little bit bobble on that curb, so Schumacher took that corner a little too aggressively. As you can see, it is a green sector 1, so he has improved his pace a little bit. Again, with 8 minutes left, not a lot of guys on the circuit. I think our guys, at least one of them should be able to meet that Q2. So great start here for Team Haas. This is going to be a super fun mini-series on the channel. A lot of really entertaining things coming our way. Now you see Magnussen will be starting. He's just about to finish his sector. So we'll just quickly jump over to Magnussen to see what he gets on his. As you see on the left here, Mick Schumacher did get green on his second one, so he's still doing very well. That should bump him up a little bit. And Magnussen also improving on his time. So really exciting to see the AI just improve ever so slightly from getting held up in that traffic. It's just really cool. Now we'll watch Schumacher cross the finish line here and see what he can pose. So he did pose. Didn't look like he improved on the leaderboard, and he won't improve, but that is quite a bit faster than if I remember what Bottas's time was. So all in all, pretty solid. We'll hop over to Magnussen now as he's looking to round the final sector. Have a look at his lap. He's also double green, so he's improved his time on both. I think for sure, again, don't want to be overconfident, but if Magnussen finishes this lap faster than he finished his first flying lap, he should be a shoe-in to get inside that top 15 and have a chance at Q2. So as he comes across the line here, we're going to see what he posts. So he does jump up one spot. Verstappen's actually he hasn't gone back out yet, but he's dropped down, so maybe they're saving some tires. So our guys, that's pretty much going to be it, I think, here for Q1, is we're going to fast forward. Mick might have to go out for one more once he comes in. Because he's right at that cusp. So we're actually going to get the tires ready for him. We'll send him out with a couple minutes left. We're actually just going to have to wait and see if anybody else jumps up. If nobody else drives out, then, you know, maybe they're good. All right, we're going to send out Schumacher for one last lap here. Magnussen, I think we're okay. I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to make the executive decision to save the tires. Save him for Q2. We're going to have a look at Mick Schumacher here. So Mick Schumacher is going to start his newest lap here. So Magnussen has made it. Magnussen has already made it. I don't think any of these guys are going to bump up that much where Magnussen's not going to make it. So we're going to watch Mick Schumacher here finish his second flying lap and see if he can squeeze in. He's still on a spot, but he's getting closer to that 15. So again, you're going to have guys like all these guys in front of him who are going to finish. Like, he's last on the circuit. So now you see Bottas, who's right in front of us. We're going to know basically right away if we make it. Some of these guys are post time, so now Schumacher's on the chopping block. He had a great sector 1, did not improve on sector 2, so he's gonna have to push the pace here to try and just maintain that position, because if Bottas crosses that line and pushes them in, we only have Kevin Magnussen. So Mick Schumacher is now out, so he has to cross this line faster. Will he do it? He does not. So Mick Schumacher, our number 1 driver, is getting bounced from Q1, but we did achieve it. You know, unfortunately for Mick Schumacher, our driver number 1, he does not make it. 16th position, not the end of the start, or not the end of the world. Kevin Magnussen, though, kudos to him. Our number 2 showing us he's still got it, makes it in 10th position to Q2. So we'll see him jump in. So unfortunately, again, we have the new softs again. It's going to be interesting because we're kind of just giving it our all.
It's up to you whether you manage the rest of it.
We'll manage it. We'll have a look. We'll see if he can make it. I don't anticipate us making it in the top 10 shootout, to be honest with you. We're going to send a couple guys. We're going to fast forward to
Radio check, Kevin.
Radio's good.
that feature right there is so cool. So obviously with all the release videos, you saw that they have the real drivers. This is a first fully licensed management game. So you have all the drivers in-game voices with their actual engineer talking to them. So it's really cool. You're going to hear that throughout all the race. When they confirm something, you're going to hear Kevin Magnussen respond. They have thousands of in-game audio responses for every single driver. It's very, very entertaining. It makes it feel like a real-life thing. So once these two drivers come out, we're going to actually send Kevin Magnussen out there too. Get him behind these cars. Track's not going to be the warmest, but you know what? Again, we have one set of brand new tires. Other than that, we're going to have to go back to worn ones. So hopefully he can get out there. Hopefully he can post a decent time. We'll simulate until he gets behind or gets closer to the start of the race or start of the lap. So track grip and track rubber are now high. So we'll see Kevin Magnussen. He's out there. He's flying. Let's hope he can post a decent time. He's used to the car. It's warmed up. We're actually getting a little bottled behind. Okay, so he moves out of the way really quickly. Not a lot of traffic. That'll be good for Magnussen. And you just see him. He's flying through these corners. He has a green time, so he's already improved on his pace from Q1. And that's all we're looking for. If we can squeeze in a Q3 again, anything higher than this position that we're in is a bonus. Just visually, the graphics on this game are just so wonderful to see. It's just such a new iteration take on these management games. So one thing I will point out is, again, if you stayed here to the end, to the bottom half of this video, I appreciate you guys checking it out. This game's super exciting. These videos will be nowhere near as long as this one. We obviously wanted to go through all this setup. But the races are full races. We're going to be fast forwarding through a lot of it, pick and choose where we want to attack, where we want to manage. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you do enjoy this video, if you do enjoy F1 games, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you enjoy. As we see Kevin Magnussen, 2 green sectors. Can he get a 3rd green one? He will. So that's a great time. That's an improvement of 1.248 seconds. So very good, very, very good showing here for Kevin Magnussen to start Q2. You obviously got some guys out on the field that are still racing, so everybody should be coming through. You see Leclerc should jump somewhere near the top, I would think. Oh, he's just starting his lap now, so these guys are just starting their lap. So we'll jump ahead. We'll see if Magnussen with that time can make it in. So we'll get the tires on them, the worn tires, just in case we need to set them out. We'll send him out for one more lap. Try and make it count. Right now, he's the last man in this pack, so we'll know right away if he needs to pick up his pace. So another green. So this is it. So the guys that are in ahead of us, we're gonna know again, similar to Q1, we're gonna know right away if we've made it into Q3 or not. Currently, we are still sitting in that position. Lots of guys about to pass. You're gonna get guys like McLaren who are gonna push it to the metal. As you see, Daniel Rick does not, so he is done. He's in 12. We are now right on the cusp. Oh, and same with Lando Norris. So both McLarens actually posting bad times to see Ocon. So this is it. 2 greens. Can we bump back into 10th? We are going to be the last man across. And he does not. Oh, he does. We do. He crossed the line. Sorry, it was still adjusting us. So we sneak into the top 10 shootout in our first ever qualifier. This is phenomenal. So Kevin Magnussen, our number 2 driver, showing he still has it in this Haas car. So we are making it into the top 10 shootout. But again, the unfortunate part there is we did put on all the sets of tires, so we're going to be using partly worn tires. Not the end of the world. Maybe they do give us a fresh set here. It looks like this is a brand new compound. Well, we're ready. We're gonna. He's got to be super excited as finishing in the top 10 is just, like I said, it's just absolute bonus from this point out. So top 10 shootout here for Kevin Magnussen in the Haas car.
Radio check.
Radio is good.
Radios is all good. DRS is enabled. We're going to send him out. We're just going to get in a beautiful first lap, put the pedal to the absolute metal, and just see if we can improve on 10th. Right now, I'm ecstatic that we're in 10th position. That's something that, you know, for me, I can only dream of that, right, man. Like, that's something that you just don't see every day from a Haas car inside the top 10. So maybe it's a suspension. Maybe, like I said, I think Bahrain suits our vehicle the way we have it set up very good. We're not a top speed car. We're medium speed. We have that dirty air, and we're doing pretty good. So as you can see, we'll have a look. He's set a green sector again. We'll watch him in real time cross the finish line, and hopefully, you know, you never know. When it gets to this top 10 shootouts, you just really never know. But unfortunately for Schumacher, he's just sitting in the pits wondering what he did wrong, why he wasn't here. But all in all, this is super entertaining. The management will really come in game where, you know, you tell your drivers to push it, use the ERS defensively, whatever it might be. So there you go. That's our time. We've set it. We're gonna fast forward and see where we stand. So Magnussen's back in the pits. I think we're honestly just going to keep the same tires on. There's no point. We might not even get any improvement on our time, but we'll send our guy out in just a minute. We're actually going to send him out first. I'm going to send him out here. The rubber's high. Everything's warmed up. The track is good to go. We're going to send him out here early and see if we can get a really good time posted early and put the pressure on some of these guys behind us. There we go. He's off. Same with what we did last time. We're going to just watch him drive in. He's got a good time going here, too. Both double green sectors. So Kevin Magnussen is putting on a really good performance here in Bahrain for Team Haas. No mistakes, really. Okay, so checkered flag for us. We maintain our 4th time. We're going to see if any of these guys can improve on that and bump us farther down. Okay, so at the end of the day, we get bumped down to 10th, but a starting grid position of 10th and 16th is not that bad. We'll take that. Like I said, I mean, you got guys like the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, the Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas up there real high in position 6. I think the surprise for me is the 2 McLarens being so low. Like, normally if one of them jumps in. Obviously, Williams, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, things like that. You do have Pierre Gasly up there, nice. So out here in Bahrain, I guess anything can happen. But if you would have told me that a Haas car would be in a top 10 shootout, I would have told you you're crazy.
The
So I'm
time has
happy.
come to fight it out. It's race day.
Haas proved quite resourceful during qualifying. That puts them in a very good position to make the most of this race start. Alfa Romeo managed to meet expectations during qualifying, and if they can keep this up, they'll have a good race ahead of them. And we've got a clear night here beneath a starry sky. If the weather holds steady, we should be in for a spectacular race indeed.
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to cope with the pressure? Let's find out right here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
All right, there you go. So we're here at Bahrain.
Time for the main event.
We know what we need to do. We know that. So it looks like we actually get bumped down to 11th. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Oh, sorry. That's weird that it does that. It should do this, in my opinion, in chronological order. The last time at the top, that's fine. It's just doing it in the actual, like, your very first time down. So Kevin Magnussen, it only improved. Like, you look at this, in 11th in practice 1, 12th in practice 2, 13th in practice 3, and then he jumped up to 10. So kudos on him. We get that bonus. Qualifying targets have been met, so we gain a nice little chunk of cash here to start it off. Now it's up to us to go into the race.
Let's set a tire strategy for our drivers now. We need
Okay, so this is the strategy that's interesting,
every
right?
race week. Okay, strategy. Right. If you think a different.
Not gonna listen to any of that. Okay, so strategy 1 here for Mick. You know, we got lap 1 to 21 soft compounds, so soft, medium, soft. I think we're actually gonna keep Mick on this, but the difference is we're actually gonna come in a lap early on both. And we're going to select strategy A. Okay. And then we're going to go back. So soft compounds to mediums to soft. So he's coming in.
You should consider.
He's coming in on lap 17. And then if we look at a strategy for... I think we're actually going to do a different strategy here. And we're going to come in on 16 and 43, right? Those are different numbers. 17 and 40. So Schumacher's coming in earlier. Magnussen's coming in later. Or he's coming in earlier for the first, later for the second. He's coming in earlier and earlier. I like this. I don't know if this is a smart thing. There's going to be so many things to play around with. We'll see quickly what the AI decide to do.
It looks like clear skies tonight, with the drivers now in their grid positions.
Looks like a lot of soft
There we
compounds,
see
so...
Kevin Magnussen. And it's Schumacher as the second driver today. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. Will their hard work pay off today?
So no crazy strategies. I was considering going from medium to hard, but I think for me, you know what? We'll stick with what works best. Looks like a lot of cars on sauce. We didn't want to be the only ones. We got 5 reds. Lights out. We're off. So we're going to have a look at Magnussen since he was near the top. So he's now behind Alonso here. Maybe trying to warm up the tires a little bit. Guan Yu's right behind him here. Then as we jump down, Schumacher here. He's putting the pressure a little bit on Tsunoda there. So good start from both the Haas, not losing any positions. Dropping down a little bit here from Alonso. So that Alpine car... Vettel. So none of our guys are actually getting pushed a lot right now. So we might actually, coming up here, we might actually tell Magnussen to have a go at some of these guys, because you can see up ahead, they're battling it out. Both guys doing an okay job. Not really getting pressured too much from behind. I'll have to keep an eye to see if they start getting pressured. Schumacher's still holding off Vettel there quite a bit, actually. We can actually probably tell him to start gaining on Tsunoda. And Magnussen being pressured a little bit here. So we're actually going to tell him to...
The driver needs an additional performance push for a short time.
We're going to actually tell him to deploy it here. Oh, I did it on the wrong guy, but that's okay. We're going to do it on both guys here.
Road push. Copy that.
So he's making an overtake here. He could definitely overtake Alonso here on one of these upcoming straights. So some driver lockups.
Been a lockup. We can take a look now. Now let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
So back at the grid, Nicholas Latifi locks up. Unlucky for him. Oh, overtake him, Schumacher. We got this, baby. So he's putting the pressure on Yuki Tsunoda here. He should be able to have a go at him coming up, I would think. There we go. Magnussen goes on around the outside here. Can he hold on and claim this position as he has the outside? Oh, here we go. Beautiful. Oh, it's a beautiful move here from Magnussen with the DRS to pass Alonso. Alonso still has that inside angle, though.
Good job, Kev.
He has the racing line for a moment, but...
Typical.
Typical.
Alpine just advanced. Let's see what happened there. Now watch this. Here's Alonso's car.
Yeah, it just had the outside racing line, trying to take it around the outside, but it was just Alonso that unfortunately just had the better racing angle, was able to maintain the inside and just stay there. So it's going to be really difficult to try and overtake some of these guys that are in the faster vehicles, but we'll pick up the pace here for a bit and see, because as you can see, Schumacher's fallen a little bit behind there. Same with Magnussen. Magnussen's gaining some distance, but it's just not enough to really justify that overtake. Yeah, just kind of hanging in there. Might have to play some defense here against Guan Yu. Oh, so nearly a collision there. So
Mode push.
Yeah, copy.
we'll tell Magnussen here to pick up the pace a little bit, try and close the gap, because for a moment there, Guan Yu was right behind him, and now you can see Guan Yu getting pressured by Ocon. So Mick Schumacher now right on the pace too, so maybe we tell him to pick up the pace and see if he can close that gap even more. There you go. So Mick closing the gap real nice. It'd be really cool if we can get Mick to... Oh, and then he'll shoot to the outside. And there you go. Mick overtakes Tsunoda with a wonderful move. So we'll watch that because we were in fast time, but as you can see, this is just a great play. So around the outside, just following the McLaren car to a T, and both of us just swing around that AlphaTauri to an absolute perfection. So bump up to P15 for Mick. So give credit to Mick. He's just hanging on now. He's got to maintain that ERS as he's almost out. We'll tell Tell Magnussen to back off. He's closed the gap quite a bit here. Just put them both in neutral. Try and conserve some power.
As the race progresses, remember to keep an eye on the planned strategy you put in place before the race. The data view is also an important area to track during the race. During the race, you can use the strategy view to check on each driver's strategy and adjust them if need be. You can also use the...
Our strategy's still looking okay. I think we're still good. Car's still performing.
Good job.
Haas with an overtake there. Let's take a close
So while we
look.
were doing that strategy,
Focus on the Haas.
Mick Schumacher with a burst of speed, the DRS flap open, and he will get a great stretch here to gain another position. So our Haas car looking all right against some of these other mid-tier cars like the McLaren and the Alfa Tour who are just battling it out there. So
The team was-
team's excited. I'm happy. That's a great look there for our boy Schumacher. Now he can just coast. He's actually he's out ahead quite a bit now. So 6/10 on Ricciardo, and as we were on the Magnussen there, he's actually still maintaining that distance with Alonso at 5/10 of a second as well. So team's doing pretty good. We're kind of in a position now where we could kind of just speed the timeline up. So we're gonna have to tell Mick here to defend. As you see, Daniel Ricciardo right on our heels, and he's gonna have that DRS open on this next stretch coming into lap 6. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm gonna guess
Got no ERS.
Copy.
unfortunately Schumacher's ERS was empty there. So we're just gonna have to put that back on neutral, give the position up. So we knew that was coming. Obviously these guys were nice and close together. We'll get the DRS here shortly. We're gonna just conserve our battery. Oh, it's such a shame that we're out of battery while he's fighting him like that, but not much we can do. We just got to make sure that, you know what? Let's just maintain our battery. He's got nothing in the tank. So I think we're going to have to give the position back to Tsunoda here as we look for for some reason that ERS is just was not harvesting back, but as you can see, I mean, all things considered, with no battery, Mick's doing a great job. Mick's doing a phenomenal job. DRS activated. He swings to the inside. He's going to look to make a play on Daniel Rick. So he regains 14th back. An absolute stellar overtake. That was phenomenal. So it's going to be a dog battle there.
Overtake.
So obviously Ricciardo gained that back. It's going to be a dogfight with these three cars.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Wow, it looks like Schumacher jumped way out ahead there. Good defense. So there's a lot to learn. I mean, like I was saying, it's going to be very interesting as we continue this mini series, because there's just so much to learn, like understanding when you should deploy, when you shouldn't, because obviously it's really easy to watch a Formula One race and hear the pit crews say when to do it, because they have all the numbers. You know, they're looking at all these statistics, they're looking at the sectors, they're looking at when somebody's green and if they're going to push, things like that. We can also pick the pace up here, and you know, we can tell Magnussen here he needs to be aggressive in attack. So let's just try it again. We're just this first race, this first video. So actually, we just told Schumacher to push by accident, but you know what? Not a bad thing there. We got lots of fuel, so we're actually gonna tell Magnussen he should. We're gonna send Magnussen to attack.
Kev, if you've got some margin, try to increase the pace a little bit.
Copy that.
So just telling these different things again, like this first video, this first race is just learning. Like I understand the basics of of a race, what we need to do, things like that, but unfortunately, until we really get our footing and understand what we need to do, and it's just going to be trial and error because there's a lot into this game. There's a lot of data thrown at you.
Fuel commands allow drive. Just keep an eye on your remaining.
So Mick is just doing everything he can to fend off Daniel Rick here. But credit to Kevin Magnussen with that push out. So if we go over to Pace, he's on attack. Let's get him to push a little bit here. We're going to tell him we're going to attempt to overtake Alonso here. I think he's going to go for it. What an overtake by Kevin Magnussen. He's got extra pace here where he can actually put the pedal to the metal here.
Is that a new race position for Haas?
What an overtake. We are almost a second ahead of Alonso here. So we can ease up on these things again. We can put the ERS back into neutral. We can put the fuel back on balance and then just keep the pace on aggressive because right now the tires they're 50%, but he's coming in a couple more, like maybe 5 more laps. So looking okay. We'll keep the pace there. We'll keep an eye on that right now. How are we looking for the Schumacher's doing an okay job here. We'll keep the balance.
They've gone wide.
And there you go.
Let's take another look. There we have Joe.
So Guan Yu just kind of misses that turn, whether it's his tires a little bit, but just slingshots off the track there. Goes wide. Unfortunately for Alfa Romeo, the team's not happy with that one, but that's the exciting thing about this game is you're going to see all kinds of things like that. So right now we're not going to push Schumacher too much more. We're just going to kind of let him just try and defend here for a while. We're actually going to put the RS on defend, and if he can maintain position 14 until we start pitting, I think that's going to be an okay maneuver there. I keep getting these two backwards because Kevin Magnussen's higher, Schumacher's not. I got to keep that. We're actually going to tell Kevin Magnussen to attack because I think he can actually.
Come on, Kev.
Copy that.
I think we can actually see Magnussen overtake Gasly here in the next little bit. Tires are still okay, 47%. Schumacher's got to ease off. His tires are playing the defense game is really wearing on Schumacher's tires.
No more lifting coast.
Beautiful overtake.
Copy.
Deploy that and get out ahead of him. A wonderful overtake there by Mick Schumacher to gain position. But this is just going to be the fight that they're going to be in for a while. As you can see, Daniel Ricciardo get the inside just for a moment. But Mick Schumacher, yeah, we're watching this in real time, so we're not going to watch the replay. But kudos to Mick for just staying with them as much as possible here. His tire wear is not looking the best. That's okay. Just ease up. Stay with it. You'll get him back.
Okay, more lift and coast, please.
Understood.
We have now gained the likes of Gasly, Russell, Hamilton, and Bottas. Bottas is doing a wonderful job. Like just easily coasting in there.
The driver has just entered the pit window. This means it's nearly time to call the plan.
So we told Magnussen to pit by around 17. So we're going to go a couple more laps and then we'll see him pit. Because right now he is in a heated battle. If he can get, we're going to tell him to push. If he can gain this position from Gasly before we pit, that'll be absolutely monstrous. I think he has it in the car. He is driving so well. He's right on the heels with DRS open. Just can't seem to gain any because the AlphaTauri car of Gasly is just slingshotting his way through with Russell there. So Hamilton passes Bottas. So obviously 36% there.
P16.
So Mick's having some trouble here.
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, Mick's struggling a little bit on these tires. That's okay there. Our focus should be realistically on Kevin Magnussen because he's driving a really good race. So we're going to speed up here. Mick's closed the gap on Sonoda.
Okay, understood.
Right, let's talk tyres. During dry races, ultimately, it's your decision on which... Once you've decided which...
So we told Magnussen he was going on hards. It's too bad because we were right on the heels of Pierre Gasly, but I think if the driver is saying that his tires are not great, yeah, his tires are not good.
Make sure you keep an eye on their condition. This all looks great.
So his tires are starting to go. We're not going to tell him to change his drive at all. I think he's doing fine. He just needs to get in and pit. Whereas Mick is doing... Mick has the fuel. Let's tell him to push.
We will go to high fuel now.
Copy.
We'll catch these guys. Let's catch them.
Copy.
Just not the greatest there by Mick. As we'll see Kevin Magnussen come in for his first pit change. Great lap. 3.5. So he's going to come back out. We had, I think, these three were all pitted with us. So all in all, not the worst. We'll get Mick pitted on the next lap. Just trying to multitask here while also trying to focus on providing some sort of commentary. So Magnussen, Schumacher's obviously coming into the pits here shortly. We'll speed this up because we'll just try and get past all the pits. So Mick also had a really good pit time. All right, so as things come out, we have Mick Schumacher, who went from softs to mediums. He's now putting the pressure on Rick, which theoretically, if we tell him to attack, he theoretically should be able to overtake Daniel Rick on those hard compounds. So, yep, with ease. So great overtake there. Back in position 15.
Is that a lock up on the track?
So it looked like Sonoda locked up. So that's actually good for Magnussen.
Let's catch him.
Copy.
Haas with an overtake.
So Magnussen overtake. Let's have a look at that lockup by Sonoda.
Just focus on the Haas.
It just locked up, went in completely wide. So great driving there by Magnussen to just stay calm. As you can see, Magnussen with ease is overtaking Bottas for 8th position. Schumacher saying his tires are getting a little warm.
Okay, good job. That's one.
Is that a new race position for
So
Haas?
there you go. Sonoda's in the pits. Mick Schumacher passes him.
Typical.
You're currently P15.
So Magnussen lost the position here, but he has some.
Gain a position.
I'm going to ask him to try and push it to overtake Bottas here. And we missed it because he did it so fast. Oh, man.
Haas with an overtake there.
Keep that up.
So we'll watch that. It was a great overtake here by Magnussen. Oh, yeah, just with a burst of speed. You see the flap open, the DRS flap, and he just zings by him. So actually a really strong overtake as Magnussen's looking pretty quick, and he's back up into position 8. So DRS is empty there. Not bad. We'll go back to Mick. Mick just can't seem to find the pace right now. Maybe on this stretch here, he'll be able to overtake as we'll go in. He's in that slipstream with everything. He just doesn't have the juice to overtake it. As you see, Magnussen just lost his position. Good inside move here by Mick. If he has the pace, he can just stay in this position, but
Position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Good, really good.
so kudos on Mick to get back into 14th. Again, this is just going to be an absolute dog battle the whole day. Magnussen dropped back a little bit, so we're going to tell him to just everything balance. He'll get that position back. We can actually probably tell him to deploy a little bit of ERS.
Mode push.
Copy.
See if he can't grab this spot back from Valtteri Bottas, who was really high up in the standings, so probably a little bit of a botched pit. And as you can see, we just slingshot to the outside again. So on these straightaways, these hard compounds in our Haas car are doing a great job for Kevin Magnussen. So good job there by Kev. Actually, it looks like Mick Schumacher has done a great job pulling ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, so I'm not sure if there was a little incident there, but Schumacher's nearly 1.2 seconds ahead of Ricciardo, so right now he can kind of just coast his way in. So we'll keep an eye on that, and Bottas should be able to grab that DRS, and so if we don't have any DRS to work with, but we could push here, try and stay this position. So yeah, you can see with the push there, with the little bit of managed to stay in. And now we'll just slingshot forward. So we're going to see some back and forth between all these guys. Bottas is going to keep pressuring Magnussen. Daniel Ricciardo is going to keep pressuring Mick Schumacher. But right now we're in an okay position, just maintaining 8th and 14th. You see Bottas will slingshot ahead of Magnussen. Magnussen ahead of Bottas. It's just going to be back and forth for a while there. So just going to fast...
Romeo just moved up a place.
Fast forward a little bit here.
Haas with an overtake.
The Magnussen's still out ahead of Bottas, just barely. And then Schumacher is leagues ahead of Daniel Rick now, and he's actually gaining on Lando Norris. So Great drive. We're just going to leave Mick Schumacher doing his thing because he's driving well. Magnussen's still struggling a little bit too.
That was a position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Again, this is just the way they're positioned. As you can see, Bottas grabs that DRS, slingshots in front of Magnussen on those medium compounds, but then Magnussen grabs that DRS and is arguably faster than Bottas with the DRS on those hard compounds. So it's just going to be a back and forth for a while there, and that's perfectly okay. Bottas has been on those mediums for just as long as we've been on the hard, so he's going to have to pit early. As you see, Mick Schumacher's doing an excellent job here to close the gap on Lando Norris, so...
Looks like there's been a lockup. Let's have a look. Now watch.
Man,
this.
Albon is struggling out here. Oh, poor guy. The Williams car. See, that was the second team that I was considering playing because it would have been just a lot of fun to play as the Williams team, who is clearly struggling. As you can see, Mick Schumacher is now in a phenomenal spot here. 1.7 seconds behind Lando. I'm not going to touch anything until... If that gap keeps closing, we'll tell him to push. But right now, Mick Schumacher's driving a wonderful race. If he can jump over that McLaren, because he's now 4.6 seconds ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. So great little race here by the German. We'll go back to Magnussen, who is back ahead of Bottas. It's just night and day, this nightmare. And Magnussen has some gas to work with, so we're going to leave that on push for a while. We're going to have a look at his tires. The tires look okay, so we're actually going to tell him to be a little bit more aggressive and just maintain this position for a while.
Okay, Kev, no management required, so push as much as you can.
Copy.
We like that. We like that. Mick is now 1.6, so we'll speed up here a little bit. Keep an eye on Magnussen's fuel. So as we fast forward, Magnussen's done a good job there. We'll ease off those. Yeah, he just can't shake Bottas. Bottas on those medium compounds, while they're still grippy, while they still have some good grip, they're doing an okay job. So we're just gonna let him race here because, again, I feel like a broken record, but this is a broken record. They're just gonna keep slingshotting behind each other. As you see, Mick Schumacher 1.1 seconds now behind Norris. So if we look at our race strat, we got Mick Schumacher is approaching his soft, so he should be able to have a nice pit change there. And Magnussen's going for a little bit longer, so all in all, the car is looking okay. We can see the times here. As we go to our team, wherever they are. Oh, they're at the top. So yeah, lap 31 was Mick Schumacher's best time, so he's improving. Magnussen's is still driving pretty fast. 3 laps ago was his fastest, so team is doing a great job here. Again, kind of frustrating for Magnussen that he can't seem to shake Bottas, but again, Bottas has got to be pitting sometime soon. Oh, Mickey boy overtakes him.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's watch.
No,
this.
it's the wrong one. I don't care about that one. Oh no. Well, Mick did a phenomenal job to overtake Lando Norris there, and we missed it, unfortunately. So Mick Schumacher, impressive driving from the young man. We're going to tell him to actually push a little bit here.
No more lift and coast.
Copy.
Try and maintain that position from Lando, because that's a wonderful overtake there. Magnussen's still out in front of Bottas, and he actually maintains it on that straight, so pretty good on him there too. We'll tell him to push for a little bit here. We'll fast forward and see if they can maintain their positions.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place. I think there's been a lockup.
So Sonoda locks up again. That's behind us, so we don't need to worry about that. Mick doing a good job here.
Try to do some lift and coast and then focus on apex speed.
Copy.
Okay, back off.
Copy.
They keep flip-flopping like crazy. It is wild to see Magnussen and Bottas just battling it out so much this entire race. So Mick looks like he's losing some speed here. We're not gonna pit him just yet. We're gonna pit him next lap. We'll pit him. Oh, he's lost some ground here, so we're just gonna let Magnussen race this out for a little bit longer. So now you can see some guys are starting to pit. So Magnussen clearing 8th position here on those hards. And then you got Mick Schumacher still battling it out.
Wow.
So a little surprised by that overtake by Lando Norris. We're actually...
Gain a position.
He's still good. Like, the wheels are lacking, but I'm going to tell him to hard out attack here.
Guys.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Mick. Pass him.
Okay, we're out of DRS.
Okay.
Okay, more lift and coast, please.
Copy.
Good job there.
Haas with an overtake there.
So we're going to have to get Mick in because he's starting to lose a little bit of grip.
Box now, Mick, box now.
And then we're going to keep... Yeah, we're going to keep Magnussen out for maybe 3 more laps if his tires manage that. His tires are still looking okay. They're not the worst. So after his pit stop, after Mick's pit stop, he comes out in 16th. So if he's 16th, a couple people will need to pit ahead of him. With 11 seconds difference, he should be able to gain back at least to P14, which he was in. Magnussen doing an okay job here. He's going to have to pit here shortly. He's going to lose positions, but he'll gain positions on some of these guys. So it's going to be a close finish to see if he can get back to where he was. We're just going to fast forward here now. So everybody's in the pits there. So we're actually going to tell Magnussen to...
And that's the lockup. Let's take a closer look. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
So his tires are going a little bit there.
Yes, there. That's the lockup.
That's a bad lockup by Mag. Okay, so pretty bad Mag. So we're going to have to pit here because he's starting to lose grip on his tires. We don't actually have the best tires left available for him, but we are going to put him on the soft compounds. Get him pitted, get him changed up.
Box.
Mick is in position 15th.
We need a back off.
Copy.
Focus on Mick here while Mag's in.
You got no DRS.
Yeah, copy.
More lift and coast.
So Magnussen lost down to 9th. So after all the pit changes, everything, I'm not sure what's Bottas on. Bottas is on soft as well, so he's pitted. So right now, our focus for Magnussen is to finish P9. If he can finish P9, this will be a wonderful point in our first race here. You can see on the mini-map here, Schumacher is... He's in a league of his own now in 15th. He's going to have to race extremely well to catch Ricardo, who is on hard still, so it is possible with him being on his mediums. We could tell him to push a little bit. And then for Kevin Magnussen right now, it's just about maintaining this position because I don't see him catching Bottas. They want me to put... Nah. We don't pit again. Yeah, I don't see us... I think we're okay from here on out. We're gonna have to keep an eye on their tires. I mean, they're worn, but they can easily go a little bit farther. We're gonna push it. This could be bad management, but so as you can see, it looked like Lando Norris pitted again for his. So then we have Mick Schumacher up into 14th, but I mean, he's not going to be able to hold off Lando for too long. I mean, that's just
Charge on, charge on.
Copy.
now you got the two Alpines that probably have not pitted. One has, one hasn't. It's a very interesting race here going on in Bahrain as you see a couple of interesting results so far here. Verstappen still at the top of the leaderboards. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. So
Like a spin.
Latifi spins out.
Here's the replay. Now let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
Latifi, the Williams team has had some struggles. Yeah, I mean, that's
Yes,
just
this is where they spun out.
not even sure what caused that. Just unfortunate for the Williams teams. As you see, Mick is now neck and neck with Norris. So they both passed Ricardo, who has went into the pits.
Wow. Wow.
Not happy about that one. That's okay, Mick. Just keep racing your race.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
A little worried here for Kevin Magnussen.
Haas with an overtake. Let's see what happened there.
So Mick
Right,
Schumacher
watch this. There's Schumacher.
has caught up to Norris, and he has passed him. So great driving here from Mick again. I mean, again, to me, Mick Schumacher's our number one driver. He has the most potential right now in this specific race. I think Magnussen is just doing everything he can to hold off these two Alpines of Alonso and Ocon. I mean, these guys are hot on his heel. He's got warm tires. Yeah, he's even just said tires are a little warm. We're going to have to play defense here.
Is that a new race position for Haas? McLaren gain a position. Haas with an overtake there.
If you don't need it, no lift and coast.
Copy.
So yeah, Magnussen's tires are a little better right now. He gets Alonso again. We're just going to try and fast forward to the last few laps where things will get really interesting.
Try to do some lift and coast.
Copy.
So here's the strategy for the last few laps. We're obviously getting down to the end. We're 53 out of 57. We're going to want to make sure that Magnussen holds on to this lead from Alonso, and we're going to want to see if Magnussen can push and try and catch Norris. Now, they're both on pretty worn tires. That was the issue with our pit strategy, going back to the softs. But all in all, I think it's possible. Like, we'll focus on Magnussen right here as we fast forward. He's going to take that spot back from Alonso just because of the drift. Like, this is what I was talking about. So we're going to fast forward to the last couple laps, and we're going to let their stuff recharge, and then we're going to let them have it.
Race I got.
Yeah, copy that.
So his tires are shot. Like, they're really low. But we're just going to have to let him ride it out. We don't want him to get passed by Ricardo now. Obviously, this is Verstappen lapping him. He still has 4 seconds, so we're just going to let him ride this out for the last couple laps. I mean, he really doesn't need to do anything too crazy. We'll keep him on push for fuel. And then as we go up, it actually looks like he's gained some lead here. So some really, really good racing from Magnussen here to stay ahead of Alonso and Ocon, who Ocon has actually passed Alonso now. So some really good racing here as we'll We'll speed this up. So yeah, we got to get him to just push everything.
Push as much as you can.
We need him to try and maintain this. As you can see, Ocon just putting the pressure on with those medium compounds. More grip, less wear than our softs. It is up to Magnussen now to show us what he's made of. And realistically, for Schumacher, I mean, he has all the fuel in the world. His tires are basically shot. Magnussen's are basically shot. This is just scary now how close we are getting to the end.
Okay, understood.
What's the situation?
Last lap, can they make it? Can they make it? Push.
Keep pushing.
Copy.
Can they make it? Magnussen's on the last lap. Last turn.
Even more.
Let's go, Magnussen. Oh my gosh, can he do it? No. No! Right at the end, he lost it. Oh, the tires just gave out. But he finishes 10th for the point. Mick Schumacher loses it. So the tire strategy just unfortunately did not work. Oh! As you see Tsunoda spin out again. And now we have Mick Schumacher being pressured here. So Yuki Tsunoda spins out. We're in 14th position for Mick. Can he finish here? Oh, it looks like he might be pressured. Oh no. Come on, Mick. So we finished 14th. So P10, P14. Oh my word, the tires nearly failed us. So that strategy was, I think, a little too aggressive. Undercutting the mediums just a tad, undercutting the hards just a tad. Probably could have gone a lap or two later. It is what it is. This is all process again of learning, like I said, learning when we can deploy the ERS.
Brilliant job here.
When we can deploy the fuel. We had so much fuel left over in both cars that we could have pushed that a lap earlier. The tire, we probably had too much tire pace. It is what it is. We finished the race. All in all, I'm happy.
Checkered flag.
There you go. Kevin Magnussen rounds the corner and he finishes P9th. So apologies. I thought that was the last lap. I am new to this sort of strat thing. Kevin Magnussen does get the job done. He finishes P9th, so he doesn't lose it from Ocon. And Kevin Magnussen is in the points for P9. Oh my word, what a bobble by my point. I was focusing too much on their tire situation. But here you have it. As you see, Mick will also finish at a decent position. So, wow, I was a little confused there. I thought we were on the 57th lap. Magnussen comes home. P9. We'll take that every day. That's hilarious. I thought, here I am thinking that our tires are burning out. We're losing everything. And we still got one more lap to go. So we will take that 9th place every day. I would have been happy with 10th place.
Won them a lot of new fans.
And they're in 6th place in the constructor standings at the end of this weekend.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
All right, so there you have it. Bahrain is in the books. Race weekend 1 is in the books. And there's some takeaways from it. I mean, obviously trying to manage everything at once gets pretty overwhelming. Trying to understand where you are in the race gets pretty overwhelming. When you should use things. On top of that, trying to do this more like a live video rather than an edited one is definitely a little different as well. But all in all, taking Haas, getting the suspension is having Magnussen. I thought he finished 10th, but he's finishing 9th, position up. Wonderful racing for the 2 points by him and Mick Schumacher. Those last 10 laps were some beautiful driving to not only catch Daniel Ricciardo, but then hold him off on that last lap as well. But all in all, I think that the number one thing that I take away from this is just being focused on all elements where you are in the race. It's trying to plan too far ahead won't get anything done. I think the mechanics in this game are wonderful. I think the total control and the data that's presented to you is wonderful. I think it's a great start to the weekend. I already have some new pit ideas. I already have some new race ideas when I can use some things. Overall, I think ERS management was my biggest weakness here. But again, just learning all the ebbs and flows of this race, learning the new game mechanics. It is super fun. It's super challenging. Again, to get just points in our first race, get Kevin Magnussen on the board as our number 2 driver is just a lot of fun. We beat Alpine. We have the point advantage on a team early. You can see the experience gained. Obviously, qualifying, Mick didn't have the best qualifier, couldn't get a handle on the car. That's okay. He'll have his opportunity. The race, Magnussen showed up in full force. But all in all, because of the growth potential, being a young superstar like Mick Schumacher, he gets more experience. Both guys just about the same. We'll take that every day. Looking forward to it. Obviously, we got the sponsor bonus that we wanted. We obviously didn't get everything we wanted, but a big 3.4 mil in the bag for Team Haas. That's some much needed money, much needed resources that we need. And we're going to get ready for the second race weekend. But I think for us, so yeah, the suspension coming in hot.
Okay, I need to head back home.
So realistically, there's a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn. We're gonna just quickly do this email one here, and then we'll get set it for race weekend number 2. But yeah, we'll just see what these say. So obviously, Carlos Sainz won with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc finishing the podium. P3 on Saturday, Carlos Sainz was able to best the other front runners. A lot about Carlos Sainz, so did a very good job this weekend. Obviously winning, finishing P3 and qualifiers. So great race weekend from Ferrari there. Special mention to Haas. There you go, who are meeting everyone's expectations, currently placing in P6 of the Constructors Championships with 2 points. So little shout out from Mr. Loom there for our team. I'm actually really happy with that. I have a big smile on my face that you can't see, but that was a lot of fun. I just the learning curve I think is going to be very entertaining. So there we go. We're exceeding expectations, congratulating us on our first points. Our confidence in your leader has grown quite a bit. Great to see. I've updated our circuits for the Bahrain Grand Prix, so all strategy information is up to date. Cool. So we got some new information from Mick and everything there. We might want to, so it's interesting. I think my focus is going to be on cornering and stuff. So maybe some, we got the suspension, which has the dirty air and the medium corner speed. Maybe we just focus on trying to maintain that rather than focus on something like side pods, which are going to give us top speed and acceleration. I think we're going to focus on things like the front wing and perhaps the chassis to really focus on getting some new pieces. So airflow, obviously, there's some things there. If we spend 0.4 hours on that, we're going to get a nice little buff here. And then we actually get, if we spend 3 hours on this, we're getting some good numbers over on the right. You can see there. So getting a front wing design in the balance here is actually going to be really good. We're going to keep, like I said, we're going to keep everything preset balance for the first season, because I don't think we really have I don't know. It's very interesting play. So if we put 3 in, we're going to get that also done before that Spanish Grand Prix with the other upgrades. So I think we're just going to put that into play for $700,000. We have some money to work with now. We're doing really well. I think this is at least a good start in my eyes that we have here. So that was that. Mick Schumacher's profile here. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do here. We don't have any points to put in for development. Setup still looks good. So everything looking nice here for the first race weekend. And the last thing to do is we had a scouting report here for both of our new drivers. Just letting you know that our scouts have finished on Jack. You can negotiate a contract. So he has a good growth potential. He's good aggression. He has really good stats, as you can see. His accuracy is 85, reactions 82, cornering, braking. So overall is 72. That's actually really high. And then if we go here, doesn't look like Daruvala, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, doesn't have the greatest thing. So that's why we do these scouting things. So all in all, so we can develop them in the defense. So his defending isn't the greatest. So I don't think, again, I don't have any points. But we're going to want to put some points into defending based on what they're saying. So good to know. Good to know. All good things. So we got some new scouting reports. We got everything. That's going to do it here for part 1. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this mini series. The videos are going to be a little bit longer. Not quite nearly as long as it was today because we covered a lot of the basics. If you're still with me, make sure you subscribe to that button with the red button down below. Turn on notifications. It's entirely free. Shows the video some love. And we'll be back here probably for another video of this next week. We'll still have our normal regular flagship series for the F122 game. But again, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning out. I'm super excited to start this game. We'll see you back here next one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll catch you later. Bye, guys.